good evening. Hello to you if you're joining live, and also hello to you if you are joining in the replay. Today, I want to share a little bit about what to look out for in your content, right? Your content is, so to say, your first line of defense, right? Your content is not just what sells and what's meant to attract people. It's meant to be that place where people can opt in and self-select into your world or opt out simply because what it is that you offer, the problems that you solve, the goals that you help your clients achieve aren't the things that the people are looking for. Your content must speak to one very specific person in a very specific way. Oftentimes, clients come to me and say, Dina, I need more clients. I want to have a more easeful time selling, because that is my big thing. I can help you sell by serving your community, right? So on the surface, of course, the first thing we're going to do is, well, who's on your community? Who are you talking to? And how can you do a better job selling to them? But then very quickly, we have to actually look at your content. Your content is not going to be in my world. Your content will never be the place where you make most of your sales. You shouldn't. You should make most of your sales in your launches and via one-to-one messages. However, your content is meant to be that big magnet in your world that brings people into your world. And I am not talking about numbers. I'm talking about the right people. I'm working with a client right now who is wanting to work with one type of person. And he is very specific on the type of person he wants to work with. And he will turn down people that don't fall within this one very specific, very powerful category. But all of his content speaks to a completely different type of person. Frankly, to a type of person that is too much in victim mindset to even be coachable. So what we're working on right now, because the obvious symptom is I'm on a lot of sales calls and none of the sales calls are closing. I feel like every single person is not aligned to work with me. I'm like, yeah, absolutely true. Not a single person is aligned to work with you. That is not a sales process problem. That is actually a content problem and a mismatch in who you're trying to attract and who you're speaking to. And you may have exactly the same problem in your world, in your content, in your business as well. You may. So if you're listening to this and you're like, that's not my problem, I just need more followers. Listen up. You may actually have exactly that problem, because this problem is commonplace. And the problem stems from a misunderstanding of you, the business owner, of what it is that you're actually selling in your content. And what you think you may have to sell, and what's happening with my client right now, what we're shifting around right now, is you think you have to sell your process. You think you have to sell that one diagnosis that you as the coach know is holding people back. But that's actually not what sells. In fact, when you do that, that just attracts a bunch of people who enjoy self-diagnosing without actually creating any changes. So that is the first thing. Today, I want to share with you 6 things that I look at in my clients' content to make sure that their content is doing the job it's meant to do. And the job your content is meant to do is magnetize and attract the right people, so that you from there can pick it up in a conversation, in a launch, in a sales conversation, have an easy time moving a prospect from being a follower or a connection all the way through into being a paying client of yours. Number 1 is this mismatch of what you're speaking to versus who you're trying to attract. So have a hard look at your content and look at, am I speaking in diagnoses versus experiences? Am I speaking in methods versus goals, results, and dreams I help my clients to achieve? Your content cannot be talking about all of the different modalities that you use. That can become very, very educational content. Welcome to everyone who is here live. It's such a pleasure to have you here live, right? So we're talking today about the 6 places I look at in my clients' content to make sure that their content really magnetizes the right people, not just thousands of people, but the right people, so you have an easier time selling in your DMs and in your launches. You want to be looking at, and you want to take a hard look at this. You're probably really freaking good at what you do, so this might feel a little painful. Look at, are you in your content talking about modalities, processes, about solutions? Are you talking about diagnostics? Or are you talking about the pain that your ideal client experiences, the fears that your ideal client has, the dreams that your ideal client has, the ideal reality that your ideal client wants to live in? You want to be talking about this. And if you're talking about methodologies over here, fret not. You still get to talk about methodologies, but you cannot use them front and center. That's going to, again, only attract people who are in victim mindset, people who are self-diagnosing without wanting to make a change, people who are simply here to gain a little education, but they want to do nothing about changing what they got. When you talk about the problems and where a person is at, and when you talk about the dreams and where your ideal client wants to get to in your content, you now get to educate within that content, within that frame, about why the solutions your ideal clients have been pursuing aren't working and what they should be doing instead. And that is your unique methodology. So that's the first thing. Most of you lead with the methodology when what you're supposed to do is lead with the understanding of, hey, I know how you feel and I know what you think. That is where your content needs to live. Now, point number 2 that I'm looking at. A lot of you all have a huge mismatch between what you're talking about on the daily and what your bio says. This is true for Substack, Instagram, all of the different places. This typically happens because of 2 reasons. One, you set your bio and forget it, and boom, now you've evolved. Or you've set your bio and it's really empowered and it's really powerful and speaks to exactly what it is that you want to say. But then on the day-to-day, when it comes to creating content, you shrink. You shrink and you become a smaller version of yourself because you're afraid to say the thing that's actually on your mind. And so you end up talking about methodologies. And now when I come to your profile, I look at your bio, I'm like, that's freaking amazing. And then I look through your content, I'm like, but the content isn't a match with the bio. She's talking about apples, but the bio talks about oranges. I came here for the oranges. So you have to be so hyper consistent in what it is that you say, in who it is that you present as, and what it is that you stand for. That doesn't mean you can never ever pivot into another niche. Yes, you can. But you can't pivot into another niche every 6 weeks. And every time you post, you want to rise to the challenge that ideally your bio has set to you. Every time you create content, you want to call forth your highest self, your most empowered leader, and you want to call forth your most ideal client. And you do that not by dilly-dallying around what you're trying to say. You do that by consistently and on the daily, regularly talking about one and the same thing. One and the same thing. Now, there's 4 more steps that I want to share with you today, or 4 more places that I look at in my clients' content to make sure that their content helps them sell, both one-to-one in DMs and one-to-many via launches. If you are here to learn how to create more leads in your business easily and through service, not through tactics, then I want to invite you to a free workshop I'm going to hold on September 8th. I'm going to drop the link right here in the description. I see 2 of you are joining live. I would love for you to check your calendar and block off this time on September 8th. It's in the morning, New York time, in the evening in most Asian countries. I would absolutely love to have you there. During these 2 hours, you will learn my front to end, serve to sell framework and truly understand how you can create a system for yourself in your business to every single day create sales in your business. My promise to you when you attend this workshop, which is free, and it takes place on September 8th, my promise to you is that by the time you leave that virtual room, you will know exactly what to do every single day to create a sale in your business. My promise to you also is that by the end of the 2 hours, you will be equipped with two things. You'll be equipped with the knowledge of which actions to take to eventually create a sale every single day in your business. You will also walk away from the 2 hours worth of workshop, not just with a bunch of information, but with 20 conversations started. This is why the workshop is called 20 Leads in 2 Hours. It's very on the nose because that's what you want, that's what you need, and that's what you deserve. During these workshops, during these 2 hours in the workshop, we together will go ahead and contact 20 people that could become clients. This applies to you even if right now you say, I don't have 20 people in my world that I can contact. I promise you, during the workshop, you're going to find these people. And we're going to stay away from cold messaging. There will be no cold outreach, cold messaging. All of the strategies that I will be teaching you as part of the Serve to Sell framework on September 8th are going to be rooted in service, rooted in creating trust, rooted in leading with genuine service and a willingness to serve and transform a person's life. You will receive templates, you will receive processes, you will receive what to do for 90 minutes every single day so that every morning you wake up and you don't have to guess as to what it is that you have to do in order to create a sale that day. You will know all of this. You will have actually practiced all of this during these 2 hours, gotten my feedback on your messages, on your information, on how you position and offer yourself, or even just connect with a person, all within the community on September 8th. Again, this is free. It does cost of you 2 hours, and it does cost of you probably a little bit of courage to bring along to the workshop, but I'll be there with you holding your hand. I cannot wait to serve you there on September 8th. So the link is right here in the description. Just grab it. You can sign up for free, and you're going to want to be there live. So let's move along with the other things that you need to be looking at. So right along with my second point, with my first point about, are you speaking about methodology or are you speaking actually to your dream clients' dreams, goals, and results? The third point that I'm looking at is, are you speaking to the moment in which your ideal client is ready to buy? Or are you just speaking about your expertise and how well you embody your own thing? Because if you just embody your own thing and you have great expertise on something, that's great. If you aren't able to translate the way in which you embody your expertise to why that matters to your client, your content is going to fall flat. The best example of this is your stories on Instagram. If you're someone who runs stories on Instagram, or if you're someone who has Instagram, you should be running stories on Instagram. A lot of people show up, a lot of business owners show up on Instagram to their stories as though their stories are their public journal or diary. Do not do that. Please stop doing that. No one cares about your coffee. No one cares about your lunch order. No one cares about your smoothie bowl. What people care about implicitly when they watch your stories is, can this person help me? And most importantly, does she understand me? Is she in my head? Does she understand where I'm at mentally right now? So if you're going to post a smoothie bowl, you better make that smoothie bowl relevant to where I'm at right now, to the thought that I'm having right now in this moment. Even if you are a registered dietitian or a fitness coach who talks about your diet, and you post a smoothie bowl and all you say is, oh, it's so nice that now I finally know how to blah, 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 and my protein and track my macros. And so I can enjoy the smoothie bowl because I no longer beat myself up over eating too much sugar. That's great. cool expertise, great embodiment of what it is that you talk about. Why does this matter to me? Your cute, inspirational life means nothing to me. Show me how I can get there too. Show me that you know that right now I'm experiencing anxiety just looking at the smoothie bowl. Show me that you know that I think that a smoothie bowl is healthier than it actually is. I'm just making things up at this point, right? Show me that you know where I'm at and who I am, and show me that you know where I want to go, and then give me a glimpse into how I can get there. What did you do to get from A to B? How is this working for your clients? Now we're talking, because now you're actually talking about your clients and where they're at. And now you're speaking to what in marketing we call the buying moment. To that moment where, oh, she's where I'm at. She is to be here. And this is the process that she now helps her clients step through for someone like me to get here as well. I'm buying. I'm buying. Number 4, your content shouldn't just be cute. Your content shouldn't just be inspirational. Your content shouldn't just attract people. Your content should actively push people away. Now, there's a lot of people out there who talk about this in a ridiculous sense, and they talk about, oh, this magnet and attract and repel and this and that. And before you know it, we're down in the woo-woo world and no one understands what the frick you're talking about. Easy. Your content needs to qualify your ideal clients in, and your content needs to qualify your non-ideal clients out. For example, I very, very, very adamantly stand against using AI in your private messages, unless it is obviously a ManyChat one-word marketing automation, then you can use it. But I stand against like training an AI bot on pretending to be you and messaging people. I believe that that will destroy your business. If you're someone who is looking for support with training a AI bot to do just that, my content is going to qualify you way outside my world, because that's not something I do. I'll give you a less extreme example. I know when a business owner is ready to start investing in ads. I know what needs to be in place for that business in order to successfully start running ads, but I'm no expert on ads. I don't know what works best, if a free or a paid offer works best. I don't know how to set up an ad. I don't know what the strategy, the tactics are. I have no idea. I talk about organic marketing. I talk about messaging people privately. I talk about running launches. I talk about content. My content qualifies people who are looking for an ad strategist out. I also very publicly and all the time and very intentionally talk about how important it is in 2026 to learn how to have a trust creating conversation privately with a prospect that leads that prospect from being a mere connection or follower towards being a paid client. I believe that a business owner who intends to thrive in 2027 has to learn that skill and master that skill in 2026. The people who aren't willing to actually converse with their audience will be not wanting to even reach out to me. They say, I'm not willing to do that. And that's phenomenal. They can go and find another strategy that works for them. That's not going to be something I can help them with. Your content needs to be very clear in what you do and what you don't do. Not just in terms of these are the strategies that I teach, but in terms of here are the convictions that I have. Here are the values that I have. Here are the 3 core things that I teach. So have a little sit down with yourself and get really clear on what it is that you teach the most and that you teach best, and what it is that you don't do. Another way of thinking about this is to look at what does your ideal client already have to have in place in order to have the most success in working with you. For me, that could be is not, could be certain income levels or revenue levels. It could be a certain size of a team. It could be if you are in investing and trading, it could be a certain portfolio size. What does your ideal client already need to have in place? And then speak specifically to that client. Point of view. You are someone who has an investment portfolio of $100,000 and you're trying to get to $1,000,000 within the next 2 years and don't know how to do that. Let us show you how. That is qualifying content. Your content has to qualify people in. And again, if you're just joining us, if you've skipped ahead, if you're watching this in the repeat, we are talking about how to bring the right people into your world right now, utilizing content. Once people are in your world, you will want to utilize my surf to sales framework to learn how to now take this new follower and move them gently via service and by building trust towards becoming an absolute fan of yours and a repeat paying client of yours. On September 8th, I'm going to run a free workshop called 20 Leads in 2 Hours. During these 2 hours, I will not only make sure that you actually have gained the ability to reach out to real 20 humans that could become clients, I will make sure that after this workshop, you will never have to wonder again where your next client will come from. You will be empowered to take the right actions, and you will be empowered to know which actions to take, that you will know for a fact if you take more of these actions, you will create more sales. That will be my promise to you on September 8th, is to truly get you so ready and so equipped with the tools that you need to every day be able to take actions that you know for a fact are going to lead to a sale. Most people in my world don't know where their next sale comes from, even if they make more than 6 figures. They rely on launches, they rely on ads, they rely on their content. Once these people in my world start working with me, this is the framework. The framework I'm teaching you on September 8th is the framework I'm teaching my clients first. And I make sure that they embody it to the point where they can wake up at 5 in the morning and boom, take 5 actions that they know a few days or a few hours, sometimes even from now, they're going to have a sale. I want that for you too. You deserve this. I do not gatekeep. I don't gatekeep in this life right now, and I will certainly not gatekeep in a 2-hour workshop session that I'm asking you to block off time for on that Tuesday. So the link for that is right here. I'm going to post it yet again. The link for that is right here in the description, in the comments to this live stream. If you're watching this after, go ahead and click the link, 20 leads in 2 hours. You will walk away with 20 leads. I promise you that. You will have sent a minimum of 20 messages to highly likely and highly aligned potential clients. Not theory, like, oh, I'll do this after. We're actually doing this together during the workshop. You're going to want to be there together in community, seeing everyone else typing and messaging, getting responses back during the 2 hours. You want to be there to get your questions answered, to get your messages reviewed, and to truly understand and begin to embody the Serve to Sell framework that will set you up with repeatable, predictable, and scalable sales. The link for that is in the comments. And again, this is entirely free. There is no cost to this other than a little bit of time and a lot of courage. And I hope you will gather that courage, sign up, and join me on September 8th. Now let's move on. We have 5 more things that I'm looking at in your content. Does your content make it obvious what person you solve what problem for? And I know your immediate response was, well, of course, Dina. But really? You can drop this in the comments right now for me. What is the problem you solve for your clients? What's the goal you help your clients achieve? And does every single piece of your content make it abundantly clear that this is the problem you solve for that person? If you are someone who helps with a person's fitness level. And you talk about CrossFit, and you talk about track, and you talk about weightlifting, and you talk about bodylifting. You're not making yourself clear. It is not clear what you help what person with. If you say, I help perimenopausal women gain more muscle and feel the sexiest they've ever felt in their life by introducing them to weight training, now we're talking. Now we're talking. Now all of the CrossFit and the track has to go to the sidelines. If you want to show up doing CrossFit once in a while because it's part of your life, sure, you can do that. But the core of your content volume has to speak specifically to the 1 or 2 problems that you help your clients solve, specifically to the 1, 2, or 3 goals that you help your clients achieve. And within that, you want to proudly take a stance for how it is that you do things differently. How is it that you do things differently? How is your gym regimen different than that of your 5,000 colleagues in the industry? If you're teaching sales, then why is it that I should trust your sales process versus another's? Who does this process that you have developed work best for? What's your particular way of solving the problem? See, this is you leading with true with a true commitment to your beliefs. I don't want to open your content and see, well, you could do this or that. It's like, no, this is the best way, and here is why. If you're someone who X, Y, and Z, this is not the best way. Qualifying out. But if you are this, that, and the other, then this is the best way, and I'm going to show you how to get started. You stand in the power of the commitment that you have to your beliefs and to your values. And finally, a lot of people's content is sort of like, I don't know, a bag of cement dropped into the water. It just sinks to the bottom of the ocean, and it does absolutely nothing for you. Your content has to move people. And yeah, sure, I mean that in an emotional way. Your content actually has to evoke a reaction. But I mean this in a very strategic way primarily. Most of your old content doesn't move your audience somewhere. Your content has to move people. It can move people to comment thoughtfully in a way so that you can now pick up the comment and move it into a private conversation where you can advance the conversation. Your content needs to move people towards a free resource. This live stream is an example of that. This live stream is providing value, which your content has to provide value, but it is moving you along. It's moving you into a phenomenal paid resource, the 20 Leads in 2 Hours workshop, which will be held on September 8th, and you should absolutely sign up for that. This content is moving you to the next step. Much like in your offer suite, every offer is meant to move your ideal client into the next step, into a new graduating offer. Your content has to move people along. And I don't mean, here's content, buy my thing. Here's content, buy my thing. I mean, here's content, I have this resource. This is what you can do to get this resource. Here's content, I'm running this free thing. Join me on this free thing. Here's content, this is how I'm thinking about it. How do you think about it? Great, now let me pick up this comment and move it into the conversation. Here's content, book a call. Here's content, download this. Here's content, DM me. Here's content, follow me. Here's content, reply to this email. Give me a thing to do. Give me a thing to do. The people who do the thing will be the ones who've just raised their hands to be nurtured by you, who've just raised their hand implicitly saying, I want what you got. You now have permission to go ahead and serve that person, nurture that person, qualify that person to be ready to get on a consultation call with you. Your content cannot be dead in the water. It has to move. It has to be agile. It has to move me somewhere. So those are the the 6 things I'm looking at when I support my clients in creating content that actually activates and magnetizes the right people into their world so that sales, not just sales through content, but sales and launches and sales via DMs becomes that much easier because you're actually, thanks to your content, talking to the right people, talking to people that are already aware and knowledgeable of what you do. And ideally, you're talking people who are self starters, proactive, and are actively looking for a solution to their problem. So, does your bio call in the right person? Is your positioning clear in the sense that you're actively speaking to where your client is at and where your client wants to go? Are you speaking to your buyer's actual desires and not just about your expertise? Are you qualifying the right people in via your content? And are you qualifying the right people out with your content? And are you moving people along through your content? Ask yourself these 6 questions and make sure that in answering these questions, you are honest with yourself so that you can go ahead and do a little self audit on your own content and go ahead and improve your content, elevate it to the point where it becomes that first welcome into your world, into your business world, not just into your world of let me pop a bunch of content out there and see what sticks. You're far beyond that, right? You're far beyond that. Your content is meant to be that first line of service that now allows people to raise their hand, and the people who raise their hand now get to be served by you on a deeper level again via a launch event, via a free workshop, via a free resource, and most importantly in your DMs. And if you want to know what to do once people arrive as followers in your world and how to now utilize the power of a private conversation, not an AI conversation, a private conversation via my framework Serve to Sell, and you should absolutely come to my free workshop on September 8th, 20 leads in 2 hours. I teach this workshop every other week in person, and it's great fun, and there's tons of people around the table who are just messaging people and getting replies back during the 2 hours and having me workshop and refine their messages and understanding that, oh my gosh, I'm sitting on top of hundreds of leads that I didn't even know I had. This workshop works. This workshop creates phenomenal results for my clients who come to these workshops here in person. I'm so excited to now be able to bring this workshop that I have so far only been holding offline in town online so that everyone, every single one of you can go ahead and join the workshop. Doing this workshop, again, this is not just theory. You will receive the teaching of my frameworks. But doing these 2 hours, you will actually go ahead and implement, message, apply, and deploy this framework so that by the time we say goodbye and close our laptops after 2 hours, you will, and I promise, you will, as long as you show up with courage, have reached out to up to 20 potential clients. By the end of the workshop, you will be equipped with a clear knowledge of what you need to take action on every single day for 90 minutes and with a clear understanding of how to deploy your natural ability and willingness to serve and lead with purpose to create more sales in your ecosystem than you thought possible. If you apply what I'm teaching you in that workshop, you will be able to make offers every single day very quickly, and before you know it, you will be able to create repeatable, predictable sales in your business. I cannot wait to have you there on September 8th. I trust that you will grab the link. Go ahead and sign up to 20 leads in 2 hours. I will see you on September 8th. If you have any questions on your content after you have completed your self audit, you're more than welcome to reach out to me in a DM and ask me your questions. And I'll be so happy to have a quick look at your content and point you in the right direction. Wherever you are, have a beautiful rest of your day or a beautiful rest of your evening, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.